I hate to break the fishing news up your Chuck, but I'd like to speak about the ice hockey.
Congratulations, you're one of the 13 listeners of the Real Life Podcast.
We just traded a migraine in for like an orgasm.
Might want to mark that down.
Yep. All of my projects are on schedule until they're not.
A member of the Nation Network of Podcasts.
About as funny as we're going to get today.
Welcome in to episode 269. Nice of the Real Life Podcast. Speaking of nice, how about the stuff that Oodle Noodle's been doing? That's some pretty nice food. Oodle Noodle at Oodle Noodlegram on Instagram for all your noodle related memes. Wherever you get your food delivery from, whatever app you use, all that. Oodle Noodle, that's the spot. Long weekend, do not cook. Just simply order Oodle Noodle. Get a big batch of it tonight, and then just get enough where you can have it for leftovers all weekend. That's the play.
Exactly right.
I want to bring something up, sorry, Wanye, about Oodle Noodle that we're doing for anyone who follows us on Instagram. So now a new thing that we do is we now partner up with a local artist every month. So a local Edmonton artist will engage them for a 1 month contract to do whatever they think Oodle Noodle needs to be or what they think it is graphically. So if you see anything weird or out there or colorful, that's a cool local Edmonton artist that we're working with on.
I loved Card House Dreamer this month, Jay. It was rad. I love it.
Yeah.
I just want to chime in quickly and say I get a lot of DMs from people who are like, I love the Real Life Podcast, but you need to get these guys to sit still while you record. And that goes well today because Jay is actively moving houses today on the pod, and Wanye is steam cleaning his carpets now.
Yes, I am.
Hey, man.
Apparently, it's real life, motherfuckers.
Apparently taking 1 hour off from moving your house means it won't happen today.
So here's okay. In the name of real life, here's the thing. We've got a small window of time because I've got someone helping us, and we all have appliance deliveries that need to be respectively to each other's houses. We have to be done by a certain time to be able to receive the delivery of our appliances.
Okay. How old are you?
I've got this 4 hour pocket of time to move this entire storage room out, move it into the house in time for the appliance delivery. How old am I? I don't know. Real life o'clock? I don't know.
Can I give you a word of advice? If you're over the age of 30, none of your friends want to help you move for 2 Bud Lights and some pizza, bro.
3 Bud Lights and a pizza pocket.
Higher movers.
Are they cold?
Over that way.
Higher movers.
So the help that we have, it's a family affair. I'm not. Hey, Chalmers, I didn't ring you. Wanya didn't ring you.
No, I didn't hear shit.
What's funny is you guys stopped by the other day, and my wife was like, "If you guys need any help on Thursday," and I was like, I just looked there with my side eye, like, hey, I'll go help him do anything in his house, but I am not helping move. That I am.
I'll help Google Movers Edmonton. I'll help with that.
Well, I'm way past helping move days.
I will never ever move anywhere again without movers. Fuck that.
Well,
you might be moving though, right? Bag milk.
Yeah, this is big time, baby. Bougie bag milk coming for you.
Downtown bag milk.
Oh, a new chapter shall begin.
I've seen the floor plan of Bag Milk's potential abode, and the floor plan is called.
Really?
And now,
what the hell's mean?
It's his floor plan. It's the life.
I believe it's an old ship.
Life chose me. Exactly. Ooh. And that's what I deserve at this point. Thank you.
I have to, as an update for myself and my carpet cleaning plans, the goddamn mouse house, which you may recall from earlier podcasts, has not left my grill, and I swear to God I'm moving because of it. Chalmers, thoughts?
Yeah, you told me about this.
I have to move, man. I've had too much time in this house, too many mice. It's not for me.
No, and it's a big Wanye Manor is not small, because when they bought Wanye Manor, there wasn't just Wanye living in it. And,
no, there's lots of people.
And there was lots of people.
It was a hostel.
It was
a manor. Yeah.
And you, my friend, the house has outgrown you. You need to get, and I saw your new place, and it's way more Wanye than Wanye Manor. Let's go.
Wanye, you're moving too?
Yeah.
Is everyone on this podcast moving?
Yeah,
literally.
I'm never moving. I love my area.
I do not, so I have to move. I fucking hate where I live. No offense to everybody in this neighborhood. You're all lovely, but I hate living here, so I got to go.
I know where Bag Milk lives, and I would say that Bag Milk, you are making one heck of a choice.
Thank you, buddy.
It was funny when I was telling Bagmuck I was moving Chalmers. I was like, yeah, and here are my reasons. And like 30 seconds later, he was like, yeah, I'm moving too. I'm like, I need a break, man. It's not that I don't like my house and shit, but I've literally spent like 20 years worth of time in my house in the last 10, 12 months.
Yeah.
And these goddamn mice. I swear, like I'll be sitting watching TV and I know there's no mice because I'm still running easily 15 traps. And I see something move and I'm like, guaranteed it's a mouse. And then I got to go sit upstairs in my room and rock back and forth like a crazy person.
Maybe your brain's moving a little faster, do the sticky icky, and then you.
I mean, the math I've been getting into, pandemic math, No, new condo Wanye is the shit.
Remember when we just asked Jay what he was doing and asked him to not move, and then it just basically turned into this?
Yeah, me talking about making up meth.
Nation, real life on the move collectively.
Oh, yeah. Good title.
Good one.
Good title.
Yeah, you're Amtrak. You want to move? Do it.
I don't think I do. I'm pretty happy where I am.
Yeah, do it to fit in. Flood this house too and move.
Well, I'm on the upper floor of this complex, so I
flood the whole thing.
Yep.
Let's go. Go grab a burrito, flood the building.
Yeah, let's do your biz.
I don't know if you guys know this, but today is National Burrito Day. It was buy one, get one free on Skip the Dishes at, I think it was Bar Burrito. So I had a burrito for lunch.
Houses be flooding.
Yeah, just go run the tub, buddy. Like, it won't take long.
Oh, man. Just while we're talking about that, my girlfriend's dad sent me the screenshot of like their water usage chart that he checked online. And we've been able to pinpoint when the flood started.
What was the exact time? Does he know? Like, was it like middle of the night?
So their water usage started to spike about an hour and a half after I left on Friday.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, this sounds like there's something more to it.
There is fishy. It's
not ideal.
From hero to villain to primary.
Is there a grudge? Is there a grudge held by your father-in-law?
No, not at all. I'm still a hero.
100%. Wow. Oh, geez. You don't know. There's
why would there be a grudge
there?
If we had the rights to the music, Sabotage is going right under this.
Wait until the father of the bride speech at your wedding when he brings this up. Guaranteed he brings it up because it's been just eating him away for however long it is until you get married.
Yeah, right after the late night burrito snack for everyone.
He's like, I didn't think it was going to work after you flooded my house, but
there's a
you turned out to be an okay guy.
There's a shotgun wedding. There's a you flooded my fucking house wedding. Better marry my daughter.
I would put the odds on that in the name of gambling at minus 250. That's being said. Exactly what Chalmers just said.
That's fair. That's fair. He did still invite me on a trip with them this summer, so I'm still going on a trip with them.
Is he paying for you?
Well, it's like the place they were going to check on when I was house sitting. That we're going there out in BC. They have like a little rental.
That wasn't the question.
I think he might want to rethink you coming to that house.
He's doing that. You know why he's doing that, your Chuck?
So you don't look after this house.
Exactly. It's an insurance policy.
It's cheaper to have you come with him than to have to go through this bullshit again.
Yeah, to write off the house again. That's exactly it. That's just smart business right there.
Your M-Check, I got some DMs. I'm hard to track down on Instagram right now. You got to either hit me up at the co-working space and help run or Dog Patch YEG, but I'm still there. And people know that. And they're just like, oh, you don't do Wanya anymore? I'm going to talk to you here, blah, blah, blah. They're like, you were mean to M-Check last show and you got to apologize to him. 2 people told me that.
Wow.
Because you, like a little bitch, were like, you're being mean to me. And then other little bitches, they're like, hey, what's that all about? Hey.
Cancel Wanya was trending at one point.
Yeah, 2 people. Surveyor Brett and you. So you're in, Chuck. I apologize because I was being mean to you because I was in a bad mood about other things. And sometimes I like being mean to you because I know you don't like me. So I apologize.
Yeah, thank you, I guess. I think the apology is unnecessary. I think we're fine.
No, we're not. Not until I apologize. And now we're totally cool.
You know what a better end to this whole thing is for you, Wanye, though, is to not just apologize for this, but to take this as a learning lesson because now as the father of a young son, you have to realize that when they do something, you cannot let things outside of exactly that situation affect how you treat them. It's a very important lesson.
What?
It is interesting.
You cannot if my son leaves a basketball out and I have to pull up to the driveway and get out to remove the basketball, I can't yell at him extra hard because I'm coming home from a shitty day at work, is my point. You can't let outside factors cloud the situation at hand when you're dealing with an impressionable youth, right?
Now, what if, God forbid, Wanye Jr. comes home one day, Chalmers, and he's like, I got bullied at school. And so then I take him out in the garage and show him how to sharpen a steak knife and make a shiv. And I'm like, you know what? Next time that kid steps to you, you got 3 seconds to make a glorious spectacle of violence in front of all the other children to set a message. Is that not it?
That's not it at all.
Wait a minute. That's how you survive prison.
Yep.
That's your first day in the house. What's that?
That's just good. That's just teaching basic life skills. I think that's fine. That's just parent. That's
how to make a shiv is not something you need to teach your child. I'm not going to lie.
Well, and how's he supposed to defend himself if a riot pops off? Now who's being silly?
Yep. It depends. If he's witty, then he defends himself with words.
And if not, he makes a shiv out of a toothbrush.
Yeah, that's extreme. Very extreme. But we could probably start with maybe just teaching the old kick to the nuts, elbow up to the face. That's
I watch a lot of
simple self-defense 101.
A lot of
this is in prison. You can't relate.
No. But there are lessons from prison for real life, and I've seen people make shivs out of pretty amazing stuff. And you know what? Those people are fine in a riot, Chalmers.
Yep.
Listen, the lessons from prison don't correlate. I don't.
Sure, they do. You just tone it down a hair when you get on the outside. But the basic
I don't sneak Twizzlers into a movie theater in my butthole in my jailhouse wallet. I just put them in a pocket. That if you had learned all your lessons from prison, you'd be suffering that.
Who the hell have you turned into? I remember one time going to the bar by the Nate. What was it? The great big bar
Ezzy's.
And we got in a fight, and you left the fight, and you showed up in a car and jumped out with golf clubs ready to start hitting people.
Wasn't my car, and that
was your golf clubs.
No, you're doing.
Yes, I can mentally point out in the parking lot where we were. So don't.
You're doing the Brian Williams. You're doing the Brian Williams and the helicopter thing.
Brian Williams, Birdman, the rapper.
Your memory is skewed. I never picked up a golf club.
2 golf clubs, if I recall correctly.
No, I did not.
Yep, and you had 8 gold chains on it.
The whole bag.
I was an episode of Power I'm thinking of, but I swear it was you, and I swear it was it.
Someone say Birdman?
Put some respect on my name.
Put some respect on my name.
Yeah.
Hey, all I know is if you guys think there are no lessons from prison, then none of you are getting any of my dehydrated treats that I've learned on prison food TikTok.
Prison TikTok is wild.
Prison TikTok is the best.
Call me stupid. I didn't know they could get TVs in there.
See?
Depends on the jail. If you're in the Fed, you get a lot less stuff. If you're in a local jail, you get better life.
And like, there's people in there just like watching ESPN, man. There's like watching sports while they're in jail. I didn't know.
What is prison TikTok? What is prison TikTok?
People who get phones in jail and they're on their TikTok accounts in jail, like filming themselves dancing in their cell, like whatever.
Chalmers, if I'm in jail and my cell, he comes in, he starts doing TikTok dances, I'm going to be so happy I made this shiv before he came in, because I do not want to watch a grown man dance around a TikTok for the next 20, 30 years.
Chalmers, I follow about 3 or 4 ex-cons that they teach how to make food items that they made in prison, including like toilet wine and all that shit. I'll send you some of those accounts. You'll just howl laughing. They're hilarious.
I thought they weren't allowed phones in prison.
No, so these dudes are ex-cons, so they're out, the ones that I follow, but they're teaching the lessons. They're spreading the information.
People have phones in prison, Chalmers. It's a huge problem. They come in through their wallet.
Yep.
You ever put a BlackBerry Bold in the old prison wallet? You better want to text somebody on the outside.
This is getting out of hand. Jay,
I've been trying to say something for the last 3 minutes.
Turn your camera on.
Welcome to my fucking life.
And maybe you can see the cues. Camera on. Then you can see the cues.
Are you kidding me? When have we ever cued?
You can see it in someone's face when they're not about to talk. Your Remchuck's far away from the mic. I know he's at least 2 seconds from saying something.
I'm watching baseball.
Well, yeah, your Remchuck's annoyed, so he's in his annoyed sit-back position, I'm assuming.
I'll tell you one thing. Tyler, whenever he has kids, which I assume is very soon, is going to have an excellent dad sit back of disappointment, where he just pops back like this, arms folded. Look at
Jay, you've got a
Jay,
wide open hole here.
Way to see the cue, Jay.
Yeah.
That was not put on a tee for me. I did want to say something though, because we talked about kicking someone in the nuts as a survival mechanism.
Sure.
Remember, this is a long lost art from elementary school, and that is the gas pedal. Do we remember that?
The gas pedal. Is that when you would stand on a guy and put your foot down on his groin like a gas pedal?
Yes.
you pull on his legs.
You pull on his legs and floor it.
And you think you weren't getting ready for jail and you were gas pedaling?
You were waiting forever to bring that up.
Hey, I had, well, dude, because it's 3 hours after the fact, but I had a father who did tell me what to do if I for schoolyard fights. I had a one. Yeah. Shiv.
What is that noise?
Yeah,
Could be anything, really.
I apologize. That's a dehumidifier being rolled to me.
You don't hear this on Spittin' Chicklets.
It's just the best.
Real life, folks. missing cues and rolling dehumidifiers.
Yeah, missing cues.
Would you like us all to come and help you so that we could do this in peace? Or
Hey man, I got my own problems over here. I got mice everywhere, goddamn robots trying to shampoo my rug. Fuck.
I was built for comfort, not for labor.
touche.
So what you wanted to say, Jay, was just to remind us about the gas pedal as an option in a fight?
It was supposed to be a bolt-on to kicking someone in the nuts,
Yeah.
but now it's so irrelevant that
No, it isn't.
It's silly.
The gas pedal is never an irrelevant move. It's also a dance.
No,
which is
you were going to tell us. You're going to tell us what
And
your
then you would
dad.
also,
what your dad
but
said.
then you would also. I will tell you what my dad taught me. There's two things he taught me, but the other thing is it wasn't. You would kick someone in the nards as well. Nards has also lost its way in our world.
Well, they all got kicked off. That's why.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyways, Art Downton, a schoolyard fight tip. Is that what you guys want?
Hit him in the sternum. I remember him telling me that once.
Straight
so
shot
it's
to
like-
the throat.
No, sternum. So dad was a big, he's like, if you want to get the guy down and get a lead on the fight, is you drill him in the sternum and he'll lose all his air and he's on the ground and you've got him.
He was telling me this once. He's like, Wanye, no one ever thinks about this. I'm like, I guess they don't. And he's like, why would you fight a guy and punch him in the head? Punch him in the sternum. They never protect him.
Oh yeah, my dad's old school. Grew up in Beauharm, Saskatchewan, and had to fight his way against the big city rival or big city kids of Moose Jaw. So he was a scrappy guy. The other thing, and this is more his maneuver because I don't think I'm flexible enough. That this is how he used to drop a lot of guys as a kid, and that's a scissor kick.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the John Claude Van Damme splits into the nut punch.
I thought you were going to say he scissored them, and I'm like, I don't think that's for fighting.
A scissor kick. What was he, a ninja?
Well,
If Art Downton scissor kicked you and punched you in the sternum, that was game over in Beauharm.
You're
going
done.
down.
Yeah. That's a 1-2 combo. You can't survive.
No, it's
We don't talk about the life lessons of Art nearly enough on this podcast, but I had the pleasure of knowing Art, and if I ever saw him in the beginnings of a fight, I would be legitimately scared. He was he was an intimidating fella, and he was in really good shape, and so like I could see a scissor kick, and it would be disastrous if you caught one of those from him.
I'll tell you.
I remember one time
if I saw a guy out in the wild, out in the streets, pull off a scissor kick, I would know he is not a man to be reckoned with.
No, it's like Steven Seagal.
Yeah.
I remember one time, Jay, your dad coming to meet us. I think we were at, what was the bar in the West End that later became a mosque, that whole big building right by his condo?
Oh, Legends.
And we went into Legend. We were sitting there doing kid stuff, whatever it was. And he came in and it was when he could dart in the bar. And he sat down and we're like, hey, what's up? And he was basically like, you two, shut the fuck up. And he sat down, he started having a dart. And he told us a story about how he was so mad from darts, he almost knocked the guy out at darts that night. And I was like watching him, and I was like, this is probably the most intimidating man in the world I've ever met in my entire life. He's fucking talking about knocking a bitch out at darts. Like, wow. Good Art Downton story.
Yeah.
Okay.
I loved Art.
He was also our coach for curling our one season, which was not good. And I remember him sitting on the other side of the glass with a very similar look to your Chuck's face on this podcast. And like, I don't know how to curl for shit. And I'm bouncing things off side rails and stuff. And when we were done, he was so exasperated with my performance. He just sort of put his hand on my shoulder and went like, okay, and didn't say a word. And I was like, wicked. I was so terrible. I get no notes. Curling for life.
I love curling.
I still to this day because Dad used to watch my hockey games, and he was always like, if there was some fucker on the other team that was causing mayhem, he would always whistle at me and like with his hands give me a jersey number.
Oh wow!
And, yeah,
the kill switch.
Still to this day, if I'm playing hockey and I hear a whistle, I'm like looking up in the stands. It's just like this hilarious like muscle memory reaction.
Pavlov's dog.
Who is your dad? Sean Payton? Like Bounty Gate shit?
I don't know who that is.
Buddy, if we could do a whole podcast on Jay's dad's stories, and it would be some of the greatest content that we'd ever produced, because I have at least 10 like at least 10 that I witnessed with my own eyes, and they are amazing. He was a very, very intimidating, a very intense. He demanded the best at all times.
At everything.
At everything.
He yelled at me one time at a gas station we were driving because he didn't like how I cleaned the windshield of the car with a windshield wiper, and yelled at me much. I was like, I'm sorry. I laid down the back of the car until we got to Mortlock.
If you're going to do it properly. That was his motto. If you're going to do it, do it right.
Like making a shiv.
Yeah.
He would believe back.
Oh yeah.
It's a quality toothbrush.
Oh, if your dad had gone to jail, God forbid, even in a shitty country, he would have come out the head of the jail. There wouldn't have been any problems there.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, yeah. He'd be sitting in a room with cartons of smokes from the floor to the ceiling. Like, how'd I get all these? I shivved motherfuckers. That's what I did.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're in, Chuck?
Yep.
I'm trying to be nice to you. Don't say okay in that tone of voice.
Okay.
Don't you fucking okay me.
MLB opening day. What do we want to talk about?
I want to talk.
It's my dad's birthday this weekend. While we're on the topic of dad,
make him a shiv.
Happy birthday.
So big happy birthday to my dad. He listens to the radio show I produce. So I gave him a nice big long, happy birthday, all that. Me and Lowtide talked about it. And then my dad after texted me the yellow thumbs up emoji.
Nice.
Oh,
and that was our interaction for the day. So
nice.
that's
nice.
Why did you have to clarify that it was yellow?
I don't know. It's just the generic like yellow thumbs up emoji. What else?
He didn't take the time to finesse it even further.
I love when people make the thumbs up emoji the actual like hue of their skin. So if they're like a paler white guy or a little dark,
it's racist, man. I'm so scared of pissing people off online. Everything's Bart Simpson yellow now. I don't do any skin tone emojis at all. That's how woke I am.
Okay. Chalmers, you going for Bud Light number 2 there, Charles?
Yeah. No, it's weekend. It's long weekend vibes, bros.
What?
Yes, it is. Tomorrow's a long weekend. Tomorrow's Good Friday, my bro.
Is it really?
Today is normally the busiest day in the bar industry. It's
everybody's coming home.
Everyone's coming home.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's coming home. School's off or exams are done. Like it's just the perfect storm.
I've been texting with Rick at the Pines, and I'm like, what's the babe situation? Like, let's get right down to the bottom of this. Are they all still alive? I haven't seen a babe in a bar in 2 bloody years almost. And he's like, they're there. They just come in for like 5 minutes and leave.
Before we keep chugging along here, need to give some love to our friends at Twig and Berries. twigandberries.ca, a fine local company, free delivery in St. Albert. You got your free shipping in Canada, over $100, nutsack underwear, all of that stuff. Check them out. They're also having their biggest sale ever still. It's been going on for a while. Some good deals in there. You can also save 15% with the promo code NATION15, twigandberries.ca. All right.
I dare you.
This is what I've been doing.
Oh, boy.
Hey, this is a podcast, so people won't see that. Jay just showed us a photo of an empty U-Haul truck.
Storage unit?
Empty? What do you mean?
Is there stuff in there? I didn't see very much stuff.
Oh, geez. Okay. Come on now.
Or the amount of fucking noise you've been making.
You could have been enjoying a nation beer and watching somebody else load that U-Haul.
Yep.
Oh, I'll be earning my nation beer tonight. I'll tell you that much.
I had a chat with Jay yesterday at Chalmers, and I said, "Oh, you want a nation beer?" And he's like, "No, I'm going to ride the exercise bike." And they proceeded to put down 4 tallies right in front of him, having a great time.
Respect.
Did you ride the bike at least?
No, because we ended up chatting for like 5 hours. So.
Yeah, because I was in the bag on account of drinking all the beers on my own.
Well, I know, and that's fine. But
that's the funnest night out of the town I've had in 2 years, and all we did was sit in a room with a window open.
Yeah, by the time I got home though, it was late. I had dinner and went to bed.
Well,
sure.
Your M-Chuck, do you even think about the Cup Parade route, your M-Chuck? I do. Most nights before I go to sleep.
I think the best way to do it would be to go obviously in front of Rogers, but then to eventually make it down to like River Valley Road. So you can have people just like lined on the sidewalk there. I think that would be like a nice natural spot for it. And then you go down the River Valley, people on either side, people on the bridge can watch. Like there's a lot of good spots there.
I like
You're
that.
redeeming yourself, your M-Chuck.
That's a really good idea.
Boys, then you know what we do as this is all going past. The Cup Parade goes by. We enjoy it. We clap. We wave at Connor on his way by. And then we all filter in the back door of the pint. And it is going to be one of the glorious moments of my life.
We talked about playoffs last week and they got shit pumped by Montreal. If the Oilers were to win the Stanley Cup in the next few years, from like the day the buzzer or the second the buzzer goes, like, and they've won, I don't know if I would be sober for a week.
No, 2 week bender.
There's no way.
2 week bender.
So
and it should be a civic holiday.
Yeah.
So obviously we've gone probably like 30 minutes so far. We have not mentioned hockey once. Now,
what we're just talking about
so
Cup Parade.
No, I know.
Be more about hockey if it was.
I know, but
Are you trying to bring it back to hockey, Charles?
I want to tell you off like I told off.
He brought up the shit kicking in Montreal, and I have to say that it was where I was looking for to build off of that Toronto game. It was
Rich Chalmers.
Where'd you get that from?
My dad just gave me $100.
What?
I don't know. He's just like, here's $100. And I said, thanks. He's like,
live on camera?
That's where I went.
Bag Milk had a good day at the track.
Hold on, you just left the podcast and made $100?
Yes.
Highest paid member of the podcast.
No doubt.
Moving downtown.
Can you hear that?
Let me finish.
Okay, go, Charles.
Can I finish?
Can I finish?
Okay, I'm finished.
Okay.
Okay. So that was the most uninspired hockey game I have ever watched. And after about the first 2 goals, they quit. They look like shit. I don't really want to talk about it that much more if you guys don't, but somebody had to say it. It was bullshit. And especially after what we had said last week, where these 2 games are imperative, and to play so well against Toronto and come up with a victory, and then go to play well enough against Toronto to come up with the victory, then to go into Montreal and do that against a team who's been on the shelf for 10 fucking days is just inexcusable. And I just wasn't very happy.
I have watched all 3 periods of pretty much every Oilers game for the last number of years. I was so close to not watching that 3rd period. Like I was sitting there during the intermission, working on my short game, putting a little bit on my putting mat. And I was like, I want to turn it off. I muted the TV during the intermission because I was like, I don't even want to hear people talk about this game. I was so angry at it.
I doubled down on my disappointment during intermissions by heading to Tinder. So
I believe the narrator will find him at Grindr.
Did you do better? Did you do better than the Oilers did that night then?
Also struck out, Chalmers. Striking out everywhere.
Shutouts galore. Well, better luck next time. I got a question.
Yep.
Now that you brought it up and you opened the Pandora's box of Tinder, how often would you say in a week you opened that door?
What do you mean? Like how
many times during a week do you open Tinder and swipe and hopefully
gotta be twice a day? Yeah.
I do daily at least. Like honestly, I'm such a goldfish that anytime they send me a notification that it's time to swipe, I'm like, okay.
What's a goldfish?
Imagine being the type of person that they get a reply and then they just get like nervous. They're like, oh fuck, this person's a loser because they replied, and so they never reply back to anybody.
Well, that's a big part of it is just if you go on there, sometimes you'll just get like a hi, and then you respond with something, and then that's just it. And then it goes into the graveyard. The graveyard is one of the most spectacular. Next time I see you, Charles, I'll show you the graveyard. It's one of the most spectacular things to behold.
Where Tinder conversations die.
All the conversations that just either went nowhere or just stopped entirely out of the blue. And then it just gets filed away in the graveyard.
We would not friends, right?
Sorry.
So we're talking about words with friends, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
We wouldn't have been able to handle Tinder in our day, Chalmers. It would have been too much stimulation. We had to be in the mindset where you had to go out in public and you had to look people in the eye, because had it been swiping this and swiping that, you'd probably have 15 kids.
Dude, it sounds like a lot. I remember just getting into like an MSN like chat room on your computer back in the day, and it just being like over fucking whelming. And I couldn't. Yeah, I don't. Tinder.
I met my girlfriend on Bumble, so it works. And my sister met her now husband on Tinder as well.
There is zero thought in my head that it does not work. Like I am 100% convinced that all those sites work if you use them properly. I just am not sure. Like let's just say that I was to become single and I had to do that again right now. Yeah. I would be over fucking whelmed by it.
You clean up, man. Like it's real life in your podcast profile. Boom.
Well,
that doesn't actually play that well.
What I would say, Chalmers, is that if your shtick, like I remember a world before Tinder, I was in a long thing, ended, and now swiping is the thing. So for me, my default is I would rather actually see someone in real life and talk to them and maybe say a joke or try a line. That would be what I'd prefer, but it's a pandemic, baby. I ain't going nowhere. So what are you going to do?
So, but because it's value, like when you're swiping and you swipe quickly, I'm imagining. So you're basically making your first impression on the looks of the person, and you're swiping left if you do not like it. So my thing is that will motivate people to put the single best picture they've ever taken as their profile.
But this is going to sound
that's
crude.
Misrepresentation. Okay.
This is going to sound crude, but like when you go to a car dealership, they don't like show you a car with like garbage on the floor and like it's dirty, like it's cleaned up. You clean yourself up when you want to sell yourself.
You also have the chance to buy that car. You know what I mean? Like that exact car. Not to say that people aren't cleaning themselves. Of course, they're going to take the best picture, but it might not be a direct representation. I have seen very many houses that I've looked at online and then gone and looked at in person, and cars where the pictures do not clearly represent what I am seeing at that moment.
Well, here's what you do. Here's your point, Chalmers. Sorry, Wanya.
Go ahead.
I don't swipe on people that have, generally speaking, that all their pictures have filters with the dog ears or whatever. Like,
smart.
Who knows? You know, who knows?
And it's not even about the looks, though. That's the thing, is you're probably counting out a lot of people that you would really get along with.
Yep.
You know, and
that's why this sucks. Like swiping on a square this big. I know you can't see me, but like it's a tiny square of a person, and that's all you get. And sometimes the bio is 6 words. How the fuck do you know what's going on?
So is it not based off of remember when they all first came out, you would answer like a bunch of questions and then you'd get matches? Is it not based like that anymore? Is it not do that?
Depending on which app you're at. So there's an app called Hinge, which is basically geared more towards that way to show a little bit more of your personality. So there's a bunch of prompts that you can offer up. Like what is your favorite TV show? I love Breaking Bad and The Office or something like that. So you can kind of see more of what people are doing. But again, it's not ideal. I would much rather talk to somebody in person. At least take a swing in person. I guess the benefit is if getting rejected on your phone is easier than to your face, I suppose.
Yeah. My brother went on a dating website, Chalmers, we'll say 12 years ago, when it was still kind of in its infancy. He lives out in Vancouver, and, he's crazier than me. And I was like, what are you doing? You going on online dating? Ha, ha, ha. And he's joking around. He's like, yeah, man, like they have special people in the queue for a catch as big as me. So I'm going to fill this out and tell the truth. And he literally did. And the first person Match.com suggested he clicked on and married.
Wow.
He didn't go on a single date other than the lady. He was like, yep, once you fill it out properly. Not at all. She's a smoke show.
Just kidding. No, do you want to know something? Him. He's just like, yes.
No,
okay,
he's the opposite. He's like, I thought I was going to click on half of Vancouver instead. Ba-bing.
Chalmers, do you want to know something else that you'll probably enjoy?
Yes.
If it progresses a little bit, and you actually have a conversation and it gets to the point of, oh, what do you do for a living kind of thing. If I say blogger, instant unmatched because they think I'm broke.
Yes.
So then you have to lie. That's the whole problem with this.
I don't lie.
Okay, but you don't have to lie.
You should.
You don't.
Here's my play for you, Chalmers. Okay, you go to thisfacedoesn'texist.com.
No, it's not a play for me.
Just hold on.
Jesus
for
Christ.
You, when you're single, because his personality is abrasive that you rock. When you're single, you go to thisfacedoesn'texist.com, which is AI creating faces of people that have never existed on Earth. And you just refresh until it creates a slightly better looking version of yourself. Yep. And you put that face on Twitter. Tinder.
Oh, that is just highly.
And they'll be like, "Oh, you don't really look like yourself." You're like, "Really? You got a haircut?" And I also tanned a little bit.
Your M-Chuck's gone from leaning back in his chair to like literally laying on the floor at that point.
Well,
Yeah, I felt like that conversation went on for too long.
Okay,
anyways,
then let's get on to something
you
else.
sassy cup of tea.
How about this weekend, boys? It's a long weekend. We've got a Calgary game Friday. We got a Vancouver game Saturday.
Maybe.
The weather.
What do you mean?
Is Vancouver in the protocol right now?
What do you
Vancouver had their game last night canceled because of COVID protocols. So I think
it's
Pardon?
Who's the other team?
They were playing Calgary.
Wait, so we might not play tomorrow?
I think Calgary's fine because the positive tests were on Vancouver. But Vancouver might not be ready to go for Saturday. So I'm interested to know, like, because they're going to have to rejig the schedule, I wonder if they would just say, fuck it, Edmonton, Alberta, Saturday night as well. Let's crush another one off the schedule here.
That would be killer.
They're going to be playing 2 games in a day when the shit keeps up.
So
like a Pee-wee tournament.
Here's another.
Did you ever have one of those ones where
yeah.
you're in like a Pee-wee tournament or whatever, and you had to play back to back, and all you got was the
Still
time
on.
that
So
it took
what
the
do you want me to do?
Right, the ice?
Oh, JR. Oh,
Jesus,
no.
Oh, my God.
I muted him.
Listen,
It's
just
fine.
listen. No, let's listen.
I muted him. Sorry.
Oh my God. You're in, Chuck. This is gold.
Oh,
Let's
I'm muted. It's all good. No, we're just hitting the final yards here.
All right, man. We want to hear every detail.
Oh,
Yes,
Thank God
bag
no
milk.
one's listening.
Yes,
it's
bag
nothing
milk.
special. Just wedge in everything
remember-
we can wedge in.
I remember, fuck off. I remember those tournaments. And the second game was always the best. Your legs were warmed up. Your equipment was wet, but it was more like malleable. So you were like, you could move easier. Those second games were, gloves were feeling good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. We're going to do our betting talk now. So we're going to get to our friend Scott Hastings from OddsShark. So Wanye, appreciate the apology. We are good now.
Sweet.
That we
now we can
weren't
start a
good
new
before.
beef. We'll call the new beef 2021.
All right. Bringing in Scott Hastings now from oddshark.com. Become a better, make the sharper play. Everything you need is available at oddshark.com. All right. I teased this in our group chat. I also texted you about it, Scott. We are going to start with my predicament for March Madness Final Four. All right. So I am usually a guy who $50 on a game kind of thing. Like I'm not a full on putting $1,000 on a game, but I am doing very, very well in my March Madness pool with my work. And I'm one of the 3 people who still has a chance to win. The scenario for me to win is if Houston beats Baylor, I get the $1,000 prize. It was $40 to enter. That's a big chunk of change for me. That's rent, man. So I'm kind of sitting there going, all right, I really need that $1,000. I could really use that $1,000. But I'm also like, that's a lot of juice for me to be sweating. And I don't know if I can handle it. So I did the math. And if I were to put $500 on Baylor, I would be guaranteeing myself a profit either way. I'd be profiting $250 if Baylor wins, but I'd only be profiting $450 if Houston wins. So my question for the group, I'm going to start with Scott, then go to Bag Milk and Chalmers. Scott, should I hedge this bet or do I fucking let it ride? Can Houston come through for me?
Well, always the let it ride is the fun answer.
Yes.
But of course, the logical answer would be to hedge. If you can guarantee a profit anytime, it's what you should do.
Yeah.
Now, again, it's a lot of fun to just let it ride. I don't know. I like an under in that game. I think Houston has a better chance of beating Gonzaga than Baylor does. That doesn't mean I would be willing to bet on that. I think they're a better, well-rounded team. Baylor has like 1 or 2 players that when they go off, they're absolutely dangerous. But as a full unit, Houston is the better team. It's tough though, man. That's tough. I'd hedge just to guarantee the profit and walk away with it. But, let it ride. Hell,
Charles,
come on.
What would you do?
So here's a conversation you have to have with yourself. Are you going to be the guy that sits at the blackjack table and it stays on 16 at all times, no matter what? Or are you going to hit? Now, the fact of the matter is you put a minimal amount of money for a huge amount of return.
Yeah.
And that cannot be understated. Your value that you're giving up by doing this hedge is huge.
Mm-hmm.
If it was, half of the money that you put up, if you put up 500 to win 1,000 and you just had to put up another 500 to make sure that you were at 250, I would be more inclined. But man, at this point, you got to go with your gut because you're going to kick yourself in the ass too if you hedge that and win the bigger bet.
Okay.
So you know what? It's all a matter of what your risk adversity is. I'm a type of guy that hits on 16, so I would let it ride.
Bagged milk. What should I do?
The dragon's right there, buddy. Just chase it. You can touch it. You can just
chase the dragon.
It's right there.
The other strategy I'm debating is just making sure, like, I mean, I have a couple hundred in my account, and if there's a point early in that game where Houston goes on a run and gets up, that's like, if there's a point where Baylor all of a sudden isn't minus 208, they're like plus 140. That's when it's like, you know what? I should just put 150 on Baylor and like, I'm still good either way, kind of.
Okay. But Scott, if you overthink it like that and you don't just let your bet ride, if you start to do in-game things, I find myself making mistakes at in-game betting because I feel the sense of urgency to do what I'm thinking at that moment, and I make mistakes. And so don't you think that's even a worse play? You could start to convolute it so much.
Yes and no. I think in this situation, I think that's your best bet would be to, if you're willing to just let it ride the 50 and you know, whatever it is, then you can look for, because realistically, the better option would be that you were on Baylor. Right, because then Houston at plus 185, you can hedge and you get the plus value either way. Yeah. So I think that is, in this situation, it is wise to, if Houston jumps out to a 20-point lead or a 15-point lead, and you can get Baylor at plus money, then you hammer Baylor, and then you further your guaranteed profits. Your hedge is that much better. Now, overall, I don't do a ton of live betting because, yes, to Chalmers' point, you get a little crazy and, you know, you might want, especially in hockey, I think we talked about this early on, either early this season or later last season, but, you know, you'll watch the first period and you'll see the Leafs get outshot 14-1. And you're like, there's no way the Leafs are winning this game. And then they come out and slaughter them in the second period and win a 3-1 game. So your eyes can deceive you very quickly. And that's where live betting can get you in a lot of trouble. And college basketball is brutal. College basketball, you'll see these runs of like 8 minutes where you don't see a point scored, and you're like, I'm taking the under, and then the next 5 minutes they put up 40 points. You're like, that'll happen. And they're always showing the threes, and they're just the bench is jazzed up, and you're like, oh well, that's
like I hardly ever live bet, and when I did against the UCLA Michigan game was so exciting that I couldn't help but live bet it. My son was up watching with me, and I was just looking back to when I was a kid and being involved in this type of thing. And they needed 2 points and they shoot 2 threes in a row. And I'm just like, why do I do this? Why do I do this? Like, it's not. So I don't know, man. Live betting on college basketball is just too much for me. I don't think I can do it anymore.
Hey, Charles, did you let Scott know about your nice run there, correctly predicting Oilers scores?
No, but I bet 3 bets. And 2 of them were exact scores after periods and after games.
Nice.
And I hit 2 of them. And usually they're like a plus 1900 odd, right? And so, I hit 2 of them out of 3. I've made 2 since then, and they have not gone well. But you know what? I think I'm going to stop doing that for a bit. Still up. Oh yes, definitely still up. But I think I'm going to take a little break from that. I've been pumping the Oilers hard, and I really need them to go on a run. I need them to go on a run big time.
I need the Oilers to go on a run too.
That's risky business, baby.
Quickly on March Madness, Scott, give us what do you like here coming down the stretch here on the final weekend?
I think UCLA might surprise some people and keep it somewhat close.
Okay.
I think they might cover the 14 points, but Gonzaga ultimately wins that. And I love the over. 146 blows my mind. I don't know why the total is there, which means it's probably going under. But I absolutely love that over. UCLA or Gonzaga's averaged like almost 90 points in the March Madness. So you're just asking UCLA to put up about 60 and you get your over. I'll take that all day. Ultimately, I don't see how Gonzaga does not win the national championship. They're just so good at moving without the ball and finding the open man. And if you pressure them on the 3, they just blow past you to the hoop. Or if you give them space, they knock down the triple. It's insane how good this team is for college basketball, how in sync everyone is. They know where everyone's going to be. So that pass is crisp, on the money, and easy points over and over again. So I thought it was just that they were playing Oak West and playing, Pepperdine and St. Mary's and teams like this that they were beating the hell out of. But this is a damn good college basketball team.
Opening day today, Major League Baseball. While we're talking about this, I should plug Blue Jays Nation Radio with myself and Cam Lewis, which drops every single Monday. If you were listening to this and are a baseball fan, I just have a couple basic baseball ones. World Series odds. Who's sitting up there in the books? Is there someone you think can provide value?
Yeah, so of course the Dodgers are sitting at number one, as to no surprise. Going out and win the World Series and then bringing in the 2020 Cy Young winner is always a good way to repeat as champions. They're valued at plus 300. Yankees right behind them at plus 550. I wouldn't touch the Yankees ever at a futures bet. Just they haven't done it recently, and that team is always banged up. I wrote the AL East odds article, yes. And Judge and Stanton have combined to miss over 200 games over the last 2 seasons. So if they're not in the lineup, I can't touch them. So I think there's value. Yeah, go ahead.
That sucks for Judge because he's a young guy too, right? Like usually it's bodies breaking down over an elongated season like that. But like for him, he's still so young. Like that sucks because he's just
bad luck.
Bit of bad luck, but
I think was it 2 years ago he broke his wrist. So that's one of those injuries that it's like that sort of sucks. But when you're 6'8" or 6'9", whatever he is, 280, playing 162 games, that body is going to break down. We see it in NBA, similar sized men, and they can't play 82. So it makes sense that that type of grind for baseball is brutal. As far as value goes, back to your point, looking at that NL East is nasty. That's the Mets and Braves, Nationals, Phillies, and even the Marlins. I like the Marlins. I think they have a really good rotation, but in that division, they have no hope in hell. So looking at the Braves at 10-1 isn't a bad play. The Mets at 11-1. Those two are very intriguing to me. It's going to be hard to knock off the Dodgers again. As far as the American League, I'm more on the White Sox than I am on the Twins, although Eloy Jimenez going down with that ruptured pectoral muscle, that really hurts them. I always have the White Sox hat on. I don't have it today, but they were my team last year, and they came up a little short. So I will go White Sox over Twins, but White Sox at 10-1. It's a little juicy for me. Twins at 20-1 would have the better value, so I would go Twins over them. From the East or from the AL, I would go Oakland is providing the best value at 28-1.
I like the Padres. I think they're 9-1.
Yeah.
I think that team is loaded up. Their rotation is like 5 guys deep. That rotation is just nuts right now. And guys like Tatis, Machado, they got like 2 MVP candidates in their order. It's crazy. You a Jays guy?
I am. I grew up as a bit of a Boston fan. Just because the Jays were horrendous, and I didn't find it. It was a rivalry at that point because the Jays weren't in the conversation. So I liked a team that actually won, and that was Boston. And I hated the Yankees, so naturally it had to be Boston. But right now Boston's horrible, so I'll go back on the Blue Jays. And from the National League, I've always liked the Cardinals, and they've got a good squad as well.
Do you know what the best part about opening day is? Like, I remember being a huge fan of baseball as a kid. And I don't know if you guys were a huge fan of baseballs when you were a kid, and Graham, Chuck, you're probably too young to do this, but I used to wake up every morning and my parents would have the paper and you go to the sports section just to see if your guys hit a home run the night before. Like I was a big White Sox fan when I was a kid because of Frank Thomas and Robin Ventura. And every morning I would go look to see if they hit a home run because I don't know. And it's like nostalgic. Baseball is like one of those things where I won't sit down and watch it because it's kind of boring sometimes until we get to the playoffs. But like at this moment, it brings me back to my childhood. It brings me back to playing it. And honestly, like it's a lot of fun to go to those games. So I just, man, I don't know. I'm nostalgic.
If you want that feeling back, man, play fantasy baseball. Like
that's the thing. So it's always, opening day always sneaks up on me for some reason, but it's always like the 2 days before where I get messages out to my friends saying, hey, should we start up a league? Like have a draft tonight, like do something about it. But then ultimately 2 weeks in, we stop setting our rosters and it just goes away. So
that's right.
For the Jays win total, 87.5, I think is what most books have it at. Scott, do you like that number for Toronto? Think they can hit it?
It's pretty tight. You're going to get your wins against Baltimore, And Boston, as mentioned, Baltimore, just a dumpster fire, bro.
They're awful.
They're terrible. And then you're looking at splitting, I would say, with the Yankees and Rays. That's a pretty fair assessment. You might get 1 or 2 games over 500, vice versa. I think it's a real tight line. 88 wins. That's probably where they're in the range. I'd say they're in that 88 to 90 range. So the over is probably an intriguing play. It's too tight for my liking, though.
All right, let's wrap it up with some NHL talk here. Some interesting teams right now. Like Nashville's on a fucking run now. They're back in the playoff race. Columbus can't beat anyone to save their lives. Colorado's 8-0-2 in their last 10. They've just been
Buffalo won.
Buffalo finally won. Buffalo finally won. That's a good area to go with, Scott. Man, just an all-time historic streak from the Sabres there.
Yeah, I had the Flyers on what was the night? Monday?
Yeah,
was it Monday night that they blew the 3-0 lead? And my system had Philly again. I'm like, I'm not touching that one. I got lucky with the first one. I'm staying far away. And sure enough, I was glad I did. Good for Buffalo. Good for them to get back in the win column. All for naught. It does not matter whatsoever. They are going to finish dead last in that division, and they got a clean house. I don't even know what you do with that organization. They fire the coach. Yeah, that was not the problem. It is not the coach.
All right, let's end it with our parlay. Like, we got a lot of games on the schedule here tonight, but I'm also seeing on my book, like, the odds for tomorrow night are already mixed in there. Oilers opening at -139 against the Flames for a Friday night BOA. But Scott, let's do our parlay. Let's see if we can grab a dub here.
Okay. Well,
feel free if you want to mix in anything on Friday too. We can mix in things on Friday because
I didn't look ahead. Do you want me to say the Oilers? Just to say the Oilers?
Sure, we can.
Okay. We'll throw the Oilers. Yeah, we're gonna throw the Oilers in there just for fun. No, so we went 3-1 last week. We missed out. I forget who got us last week. It was a favorite though. Somebody blew it for us.
Your boss. It was against New Jersey, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Somebody gets. So wait, are we doing tonight's games or tomorrow's games?
I'm going to do tonight's games because I didn't look at tomorrow yet.
Good.
But we're going to throw Edmonton in there because I was told to. Yeah, that's right. So dumb. I like the under in the Washington New York Islanders game. That's 5.5. Islanders just one of the best under teams in the league, and they just do their thing. It's boring, gritty hockey that gets the under, and that's all we're asking for. We're going to go with the Habs at -190 as our chalky pick. Fading the Sens, classic pick. And for our +1.5, which you could also take as an underdog outright, I like the Blackhawks over the Hurricanes, going for 2 in a row. They got them the other night, and I think they might catch them by surprise again.
If you have the Oilers added into that parlay, that is the under in Islanders, Capitals, Habs money line, Hawks +1.5. That bad boy is +634. If you just want to play the Thursday night picks, that is +327. But I'm adding Edmonton there and throwing a little on that.
That Habs Ottawa game tonight. I can't state it, but enough. But I don't agree with you. They coming off like a big win. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Ottawa always does this to teams. I don't know.
Trap game.
I think was it last week that I was asked, was it the Leafs in Ottawa? And it's like, how do you not bet on the Leafs? And I was like, you just can't, because you can't bet on or against Ottawa. And here I am. I also like the under in that game. If you prefer to take a total,
that's a 6.
I like the under in that one, but Ottawa is an annoying team, but they're going down tonight.
Scott, enjoy a busy weekend of sports, my man. Thanks for doing this.
Happy Easter, fellas. Enjoy opening day and everything. All your bets. Hit them all.
Oh, yes. Go Houston. All right.
Later, fellas.
There you go. That is Scott Hastings. I almost called him Scott Houston. Scott Hastings from OddsShark.com. Before we keep moving on here, let's give some love to the folks at Manscaped. They got a special offer on right now. Free boxers and the toiletry bag plus free shipping with the purchase of their performance package kit. Head to manscaped.com. Don't forget the promo code REALLIFE gets you 20% off and free shipping on anything on their products. So whether you need a razor or you're looking to stock up on some of their other goods, or Lawnmower 3.0, it's $120. Get that 20% off. You're sitting there under $100 for a quality razor. I can't recommend it enough. It's got the flashlight built in. It works in the shower, waterproof, all that good stuff. Manscaped.com, promo code REALLIFE.
Since I've been pumping Manscaped on some social, just like talking about it, and I've had another grooming company slide in my DMs. Anybody else have that?
No.
You did?
Yep.
So did I. Yeah, it's fucking hilarious.
That's
People
funny.
make a knowing that we clip our beans, you know?
Yeah, trying to make a play. I think they want us to be like I think it would be like what you would consider the Avon of male grooming, where they want you to like be a seller of their product.
Oh no, I got offered an affiliate program a little bit. They are not. They are not the Cadillac like Manscaped, though.
Let's just say I rejected very quickly. It did not accept.
We only deal with premium products, and Manscaped.com is premium.
Did Jay leave? Because I wanted to ask him about putting a deposit down.
Yes, and thank God he did.
Oh, but I want to go to Vegas so bad if we're allowed.
Oh, dude. Well, they put if we're allowed to go, they put down the deposit to basically. Yeah. So
are you going to come this time, Charles?
Oh yeah, I have
Charles,
to.
You got to come on one of these, even if it's just one of the.
I'm going to. Yeah. I'll come to that one. I want to come to that one. I'm going to come to that one. But I don't want to come alone.
What do you mean?
Okay, we can room together.
I would like to bring. Fuck that.
We run.
I'd like to bring my significant other.
I was going to say, I think drunk Tyler and drunk Chalmers would be like best buddies. I think we'd get along great when we're both really drunk.
Do you remember Tyler went to Vegas last year and we just had a really nice embrace on Fremont Street because we were both hammered at like 11:30?
Here's the thing. I don't remember that, but I know it happened.
I'll tell you one thing though. When Tyler's got the juice in him, he's also got, he hits the D floor. We were all hitting the D floor real hard.
I feel like his smile gets like super big and never leaves his face.
Yeah.
I can picture it.
Yeah. It was the best, Charles. You need to come. Like we found a cover band on Fremont Street. We were all just having the best time, even though the Oilers lost. We were all dancing in the road. It was the best. I love it.
I've got a few places in the world that hold a special place in my heart. Vegas is one of them. Yep. I love it. It's not just because of the debauchery and the bullshit. I just love the high energy hustle bustle feel even at 3 a.m. And I don't even have to be drunk to do that. Like I'm usually a bunch deep, but like, I just love the fact that 3 a.m. feels like 2 p.m. It's my favorite thing in the world.
Grab something to eat. You go grab something to eat. It's great.
Cantina. All right. I have a 9th inning of a baseball game I'd like to watch and a cold yellow beer in my fridge. So I'm going to wrap up this podcast. Bagged Milk, Chalmers, thank you. That was a good episode. A lot of nonsense, but a good episode.
We didn't literally, I had like topics. I had stuff to touch on. Let's maybe,
hey, while I'm thinking about it, Tyler, could you maybe at the beginning of the episode bleep out the exact unit that I'll be moving into that Wanye dropped?
Did he drop that?
Yeah.
Like the name of it. So you could find, if you search the name of the unit, you could find what building it is, hence where he will be.
I have so much editing to do on this one. Episode 269 of the Real Life Podcast brought to you by Oodle Noodle, Twig and Berries, and Manscaped is over.
Great job on making it through the entire hour of the Real Life Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcast from.